Oh my gosh, this is getting so ugly. Okay. So Austin Metcalf's dad he's been doing media, and the Anthonys have been doing media since the verdict. All right. And Austin Metcalf's dad, he said all the what's the word? What's the way you do it? Everything's being exposed.
Yeah, everything. What did they say? SHIT shit's coming out hitting the fan.
Yeah, he is saying, I'm not no more Mr. Nice Guy. I am letting it all out, and he is letting it all out of me. He has been talking about them so badly, and not only that, but he's actually been sort of a little racial in there too. He's been putting a little racial stuff in there. I don't know if we can say you can blame him. And this is me coming as a Black woman. I definitely feel for him. But here on this next clip is a very heartbreaking clip. He was speaking with Nancy Grace today. Take a look.
You said to me during the trial, I was away. I couldn't get to you. And the jury was deciding on the sentence. And you said, jury is deciding punishment as we speak. I wrote back, what is your hope? I was referring to, what do you think would be a fair sentence? And what you wrote back, I will never forget it, because I was with my twins, as you know. And I wrote, what is your hope? And you wrote back that my son will walk through the door again. So it seems to me this whole time you have not been focused on him going to prison for life or him getting a death penalty. It's not been about that. You just want your son to come back through the door.
Yes, but I know the reality. And it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. Shelley, what are your thoughts on that exchange?
That was a touching moment, of course. I mean, and that's probably putting it mildly. That was a touching moment. But like you, KJ, I've been seeing and hearing all this stuff going on social media in the last week or so, I guess. And it's maddening. And I said yesterday, you know what? I'm tired. Mr. Metcalf and his family, they will be grieving for a very long time. I understand that he's angry. Does he actually believe the things he said? I don't know. But right now, I am not at the point, or even maybe I never will be, but I'm certainly not right now at the point to jump on him. Okay. I'm just not. I can't do that. He's angry right now. Maybe, maybe he's misspeaking. Maybe he might say something, apologize. I don't know, but he's angry. Also, this may upset some people. I'm not even necessarily jumping on the Anthonys right now. Okay. At least not right now. Yes, we can disagree with maybe how they're handling it. I do think they should have offered some kind of apology. I do think that, but I'm not jumping on them right now. I can understand that their focus is on their son. Again, their son is alive. He's in prison, but I can understand, just as a parent, just the sheer raw emotion. That's all I'm talking about. So I'm not jumping on either one right now, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just tired. They're grieving in their own ways. Certainly the Metcalfs, even more, I guess, more for a longer period of time. But give it a little bit. It's only been about a week, everybody. Let's all just take a step back, breathe, and just let them do what they're going to do for a little while. They're grieving. And certainly, again, the Metcalfs more so. That's where I am right now. Like it or not, that's just where I am.
Yeah. I guess I can kind of see that. I feel like that initially Metcalfs and the dad were trying to come together with the Anthonys at the very beginning. You know, what I mean, good Lord, he was the one who said he forgave them at the very beginning when it first happened. And he came to that infamous press conference, and you know, they shunned him. They told him to go out, get out of here, and then it's just been downhill since. They were both under gag order, so you know, we did see a lot of nastiness coming from the Carmelo side, from the Anthony side, throughout this whole ordeal. We didn't see all that coming from the Metcalf side. So now the gag order has been released. And now, after seeing all the nastiness, they called his sons racist and all kinds of awful, horrible, connotations and words, which there was no evidence that any of this was occurring. He can speak. It's been bottled up all this time for over a year, and he's angry.
Exactly.
I mean, his son died. So for me, I don't think it's necessarily about poo-pooing or being critical of either side. I am going to give grace to him. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give grace to him because he's the guy. That's the family that son was murdered. So I'm more inclined to give the grace to him over the Anthonys. Now, I think one thing that hasn't been talked about enough is the parents weren't the one who killed Austin Metcalf. Okay, they were not the ones, and in my opinion, they're not handling this correctly as far as accountability. So, you know, I just think that. But here's a recent video of what Austin Metcalf's dad. This is what he's been kind of under fire about. We have this here. Take a look here. Let me see here. And folks, sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think about this.
Life is not easy. God doesn't say that. God says there's going to be trials and tribulations. God says there's going to be people out there who will deceive you. People out there, I mean, if we want to go back Old Testament, eye for an eye, Sodom and Gomorrah, turn to stone, man lays with a man, you die. I mean, this is all your personal choices. It's none of my business. I stay in my lane. Just don't come in my lane with your.
Yeah.
I respect everyone until they disrespect me. I've been disrespected by so many people, so many times, I've had to sit here and take it. I'm going to tell you right now, Charleston White, you think you're funny? We'll see who's laughing. Drew Anthony, you're a coward, and you raised one. Kayla, you drunk. What'd you do to that boy to make him stab somebody? My God, what kind of mother are you? Hey, Kevin Hayes, you fucking liar. Day after it happened, how many lies did you sit and type up on your keyboard, you big keyboard warrior? You a big tough man. You still live in Baton Rouge? Remember you said you'd come to Frisco, buddy? You're supposed to find me. I told you we could sit down and talk.
See, we didn't know any of this. All this is coming out. We didn't know any of this. Now he's venting about what actually was going on behind the scenes.
That's all you do.
Yeah.
Talk, Mr. Squeaky Clean. You're the only one in your family without a damn record. I guess that's something to brag about in your culture.
Scrapping Beauty said it.
People hang your hat on the door.
What?
I was saying the scrapping breeder, she said hurt breeds rage. And to a degree. And see, when he first came out, and you know how I am about this, KJ, when something horrific happens, and the first thing people say, oh, I forgive them. I don't really believe that they do. And I'm not criticizing them if they don't. I think that's just like what I'm going to say, what I think everybody thinks I should say, right? Because I'm a Christian. I'm thinking that. So I think it's too soon. And then we forget, we stay there, and then we say, oh, well, now they're acting like this. No, it's called grief. It's called utter grief. And grief is a process. And many people don't really understand it. We don't know it. We don't want to believe it. We think, oh, just say you forgive and that should cover. No, it doesn't work like that. The human experience does not work like that. It doesn't work with pat phrases. People actually go through things, and you certainly will go through something like this. Unfortunately, the loss of his son, the murder of his son. So that's why I say, in as far as the Anthonys, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what he's talking to, I've heard things about the Anthonys. I've Googled some things, researched some things, and everything on social media is not true either. But you said it right. You said where I stand. His parents didn't murder Austin. The parents did not. And there was never, even though the Anthonys were nasty in the beginning, and even though he offered forgiveness, or he said he forgave them, I don't believe in this false idea, oh, they should just come together. No, that was not going to happen. They hadn't even grieved the loss of their son. They're still in shock at their son being the guilty person. How the hell you don't come together? No, that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen.
I think that it could have. And let me tell you why. Tell you why. Because you and I have spoken about this stuff before. How if you have a loved one who has committed a crime, okay, and you know that they committed this crime. I actually was talking to somebody about this the other day. It was on video, and they did it. They were wrong. And you had mentioned you would turn them over. You would turn them over to the police. You would, let it happen. Now, if let's say, God forbid, something like this happened to you, okay, and the parents of the murdered this murdered person came to you and was trying to, maybe this was part of their grieving process. Would you turn them away like it was their fault?
Absolutely. In the beginning, I would. Number one, I'm not saying that absolutely, because at that particular moment, particularly early in the process, I'm not necessarily blame them. Maybe my anger, like he's doing, venting, but no, I don't want to deal with that. I have my own grief to focus on. They might have to focus on whatever they're going through. It's not my responsibility to quote unquote care for them when I've suffered the loss. No, it's not. No, and
I'm not talking no loss you've suffered.
If I'm grieving, I'm saying if I'm grieving at the hands of their loved ones,
grieving
right?
For
is
what?
That what you're saying?
Huh?
Is that what you're saying? If I'm grieving something at the hands of their loved ones doing?
No, you're backwards.
What are you saying? Okay.
I'm saying that your loved one was responsible for the death of their child. So let's say you were the Anthonys. You knew your son or daughter or whomever, loved one, was wrong. And you had said in the past that if something like that happened, you would turn them over to the police.
Yeah, I would turn my loved one in if I knew they did it. Yes.
Right. So if the victim's family of your loved one came to you and was saying, I want to come together, I want to talk to you, would you do what the Anthonys did and shun them?
I might hear what they have to say, but there ain't no coming together. That's just unrealistic. What do they want me to do? No, we're not going to be kumbayaing. We're not. They might offer an apology, but I mean, what else? That's it. You're not going to see me all locked up in arms with them, right? No, it's not going to happen.
You wouldn't apologize to them.
I might apologize, but I'm not going to expect them to just come on again and all. No, I'm not going to expect that.
No, not expect them, but if they did do that, you would turn them away.
If they did do that, I would have to say, at the very least, it would be very awkward. It would be awkward for me. And let me see if I can give you maybe a close comparison. When my aunt was murdered, my grandmother and her boyfriend who murdered her then shot himself. his mother did not, she didn't want to offer anything to my grandmother. She didn't want to talk, whatever. And I was upset about that at the time. Looking back as I've gotten older, I mean, because she loved my aunt too. She did. She loved my aunt, his mother. She loved my aunt too. So and again, I don't blame her for her son murdering my aunt. He took his own life. But just as a mother now and being a little bit older, I can see a little bit maybe how it was kind of awkward. I mean, certainly awkward. That's putting it mildly. So that's the closest example I can come with.
But was her son a minor?
No, they were adults.
Okay,
they were still. So my point. The point is, when you lose a child, you lose a child. Period. I don't care how old the child is. The point is,
I'm not talking about the loss. I'm talking about the family who committed the loss.
I got that. And what I'm saying is that her family never came to my family and offered any kind of apology. But at the time, I was upset about that. As I've gotten older, I can see that it probably wasn't even realistic to expect it. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I can just tell you from that experience.
Well, let's continue here.
Dumbest shit I've ever seen. Let me make one up. Y'all can let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello, okay? Because he was such this little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about Watermelon Felon? How's that one strike you? I hope he enjoyed his first night in that cell last night, because he's gonna have many nights to think about what the fuck he did. I forgave him so I don't carry the hate and the anger. So I don't get ate up like cancer and kills you from the inside. It's like me drinking poison and hoping it kills you. It doesn't work that way. You gotta let that stuff go or it will kill you. It will eat you up inside. So when people ask me, how can you forgive him? If I didn't, I would have wound up killing him and going to prison myself. That's how stupid people, when you get irrational, because you can't make a good decision if you're emotional. Emotion and intellect do not mix. If you're emotional, you can't come up with a logical solution.
All right.
Madeline, I agree with you. I think they could have offered an apology, but I don't expect anything more than that. Like I'm hearing all this stuff on social media. That's one thing. And to Tammy, you said I'm showing my true self. Well, in the words of my other late great aunt, be yourself, because there's only one of you, and you're the only one who knows how to be you.
Yeah. Like I said before, again, I don't condone racial slurs and things, but I understand, because if I was him, oh my gosh, I would have lost my mind. Okay. I would be enraged. Every time my family would probably have to remove me from public appearances. This is how bad it would be. My reaction would be 100 times worse than his. So the man lost a son. He saw it on video, his son being stabbed. And then on top of all that, and I think Scrapping Beauty said it, they held a press conference and made their son out to be the victim. I think that's what really is upsetting. You lost your son, and now the people who were behind it, the murder, are trying to create narratives and flip the story and make up things that are not true. So, like I said, I mean, it's not right what he said, but I understand. I do understand. That's just how I feel. So, and I'm going to give him grace. I think he deserves it.
That's what I said. That's what I said. He's angry right now.
Yeah. I guess now that I can look at it through all the context of it, and just the way that they have handled it, this lack of accountability, this blaming of racism, and we've seen this time and time again. It's just like, this is the same old story. And to me, because he came out and said it too, Austin Metcalf's dad, he was saying they need to pull the other kids from the household because you're creating this. Did this somehow add to why Aunt Carmelo Anthony did this. This lack of accountability, this victimhood mentality, this is what causes a lot of our young people to lash out.
Yeah,
They feel like they're owed something. They feel like you can't tell me to move out of your tent, and you're white and you're an oppressor and I'm the victim. So you can't, and this is due to systemic racism and 500 years of racism in this racist country. So I should be able to knife you and get away with it.
Right.
This is the thinking sometimes these people have. They've actually said it. Some of these black people have said it, like Jasmine Crockett.
She has, and this is what I thought about this today too. In the midst of all this, came to my mind because we talked about this to a degree before. How do these young people from these middle class families, how do they come to be enamored with this hood culture, if you will? Right. So this is the question. This is a question I came up with. I don't have an answer. This is a question I came up with for myself. What if the Anthony, the mom and the dad, what if they did not, or they did teach him right? What if Carmelo just chose to do this on his own? Because we know people whose families are beautiful families. And guess what? When people become adults or of age, they can make choices that go against their family values. So all I'm just saying, I don't know that to be the truth. I was just asking this question. What if they did the best that they could, right? Whatever, as good as parents, quote unquote, good parents. And what if, again, Carmelo just chose to go opposite of what his family, is that even a possibility? I think that's a possibility. I'm not saying it is true one way or the other, but I'm just saying
it's a very small possibility. But the reason why I say that is because of context now. The way that this family has handled this entire trial, the publicity, the public, all of it, from the mother and father all the way up to the grandmother we saw, says a totally different thing for me. After I'm seeing the way they're moving, we saw the grandma, we saw the Carmelo Anthony's parents, the way we're seeing them move, I see the whole racial victim accountability, lack of accountability. It doesn't jive with me as people who taught their sons to take accountability and not be a victim.